This is an exciting story about some gods who used to help the human species. Among these human species, the Vikings were at the top and were very wealthy. The rest of the species were financially very unstable. Now, a god named Odin used to oversee all these species and always prioritized the Vikings. His vision was to guide people properly so that they could build their empire well. This would obviously lead to the development of the human species. But there was another god like Odin named Loki, who did not have the same mindset. Loki was very cruel and always wanted destruction. That's why Loki often gave advice to kings that would create an atmosphere of war among all the kingdoms. Seeing these things gave Loki great pleasure. In other words, Odin and Loki had completely opposite thoughts. Odin wanted to unite everyone, while Loki wanted to divide them and spread terror. However, later on, all these things would become a burden for the gods themselves. No one had expected that. Now, we see a kingdom named Valsun, which was a Viking kingdom. But some neighboring kingdoms came to attack it. They were sneaking into the Valsun kingdom very cleverly. They had a very good foolproof plan to bring the kingdom under their control. We are also shown the king of the Valsun kingdom, whose name was Esmund. Esmund's wife, named Elva, was very pregnant. Esmund was trying his best to make his wife comfortable and stay with her. But through his spies, he learns that enemy forces have entered their territory. If they don't attack now, the enemies will attack them and destroy everything. Esmund did not want to leave his wife Elva behind because there was a tradition in their kingdom that if a child was born and his father, who was the highest level ruler of the kingdom, was not with the child at birth, then the child would bring bad luck. For this reason, Esmund did not want to leave Elva alone. But Elva explains to him that if he does not save their kingdom, then how will their child live? To rule, he would need a kingdom. And as long as their kingdom is with them, there's no need to worry. Esmund understood everything and so he left Elva behind and set out with his soldiers to attack. The enemy forces had penetrated deep and were more in number, but Esmund and his soldiers were well trained and had many good skills. They attacked the enemies fiercely. After continuous fighting, they finally won, and the kingdom came under their control. After all this, when Esmund returned to his palace, he found out that Elva had died while giving birth to their child. He became very sad, but the only comforting thing was that he found out he had a daughter. At that time, the tradition was that only sons would rule the kingdom, daughters were considered only for marriage. Esmund was very upset, and at that moment his stepbrother Bard arrived. Bard and Esmund never got along well. Bard was very cruel and had always had his eyes on Esmund's kingdom. He wanted to remove Esmund and rule the kingdom himself. Now, both were brothers but had different fathers. Because of this, Bard had never accepted Esmund as his true brother. He only tried to find a good opportunity to take advantage and push Esmund aside. Here, Bard started to explain to Esmund that he had a daughter now. If the enemy kingdoms found out, they would attack the kingdom soon because they realized that a lady ruling the kingdom would be weak. So Bard gave Esmund a suggestion. His wife had also just given birth, but she had a son. Bard said, "You take my son, and you give me your daughter. Everyone should feel that my son is your son, and he will be the future ruler of the entire kingdom." Esmund was extremely disheartened and had no other idea. So he accepted the advice from his brother and made Bard's son his own. In other words, the heir of the kingdom would now be Bard's son. Somewhere in all this, Bard's cunning was evident, but Esmund could not fully understand it. However, since he had made the decision, everything went as Bard had said. Slowly, many years passed this way. Now we see Esmund's daughter, Heli, inside a deep forest. She had grown up quite a lot. A commander named Sane was training her in sword fighting. The surprising thing was that Heli was very good at sword fighting. Her fighting skills were at a very high level. This was possible because Sane had given her good training from the beginning. He used to secretly train Heli because usually no lady or woman in the kingdom was given training. But Sane knew that Heli was different from the others. After so much fighting practice, Sane told her, "You are fully ready now. Your training is complete, and you can now move toward your goal." Heli thanked her commander Sane very much and then went straight to her father. On the other hand, we are shown Bard's son, Hak, who was completely opposite to Heli. He had no skills in sword fighting or combat at all. Several years ago, Esmund had taken Bard's son into his care, but when Esmund realized that Hak was not fit to be king, he began to regret his decision. He felt that maybe Bard's blood did not carry anything valuable to be passed on to the next generation. Esmund had heard that his daughter, who was now living with Bard, was very skilled in fighting. So, Esmund called Heli to watch and tried to get her to fight. Heli gave a very good challenge. After a while, Bard himself came to watch the fight. Heli fought very bravely and defeated the warrior. At this, Esmund told Bard, "Take your son back. My daughter Heli can manage the entire kingdom alone." Bard got very angry hearing this and left. It seemed like he was planning some scheme, maybe to kill his brother Esmond. Esmond wanted his daughter Heli no matter what. Now, Bard is shown telling Heli something important. He says that if she goes and kills a dangerous demon named Krakon, Esmond would be very pleased because Krakon is a creature Esmond had not been able to kill even in his childhood and still fears. Heli had always wanted to win Esmond's heart by joining his army. So, accepting everything Bard said, she set out to kill the dangerous creature Krakon. As Heli left, we see a man behind Bard, none other than the dangerous god Loki. Loki had completely taken control of Bard's mind, manipulating him to do whatever Loki wanted. Bard had no realization that he was being controlled. Heli moved straight toward Krakon to kill him. On the way, she met Bard's son, Hak. Hak wanted to talk to Heli, so Heli said, "Follow me. We won't stop until we reach our destination." Hak followed behind her. A little distance away, inside a cave, Bard is shown meeting with another king who was an enemy of their entire kingdom. His name was Ken, and he wanted to kill Esmond by any means and take over the entire kingdom. When Ken saw Heli here, he ordered his many demon allies to capture and kill her. A very strong soldier was sent out to eliminate Heli. Bard even ordered his own son Hak to kill her. All this was happening because of Loki's mind control. Bard was so obsessed with capturing the kingdom that he was ready to sacrifice his own son. Meanwhile, Heli and Hak were talking. Hak told Heli clearly that she was not fit to be a king, she neither had management skills nor was very good at fighting. Hak was directly telling Heli that she could run the kingdom well, and the responsibility to be the queen was hers. Heli ignored all this because she only wanted to join the army. Now, she and Hak were heading toward the location of the big creature. We are shown King Esmond sleeping, having a dream. In this dream, he saw his daughter Heli in trouble. He knew he had to save her quickly, or else she might lose her life. After this bad dream, King Esmond woke up immediately, unable to believe how he could dream about Heli in such a way. But somewhere deep inside, he felt it was true, so he immediately started looking for Heli. Meanwhile, inside a cave, Heli and her companion Hak entered but did not find the creature anywhere. Despite searching and calling out loudly, no one appeared. Unfortunately, Ken's man arrived there. The big man started attacking both Hak and Heli. But Heli could not stand in front of the man was so big and powerful. Heli tried very hard to fight him but failed repeatedly. Then a moment came when the big man moved forward to kill Heli, but suddenly someone attacked from behind and killed the man. This was done by none other than Esmond himself. Esmond realized from his dreams that Heli was in trouble, so he came there immediately. At this moment, both Hak and Heli were present, and Esmond revealed the truth to them clearly, how they had swapped their children in childhood solely to keep the throne. According to them, girls could not rule the throne because they were considered weak. But Esmond's misunderstanding was now starting to clear up. He wanted to get his daughter Heli back. Before that could happen, their enemy Ken attacked from behind. He killed Esmond immediately with a sudden strike. Heli was shocked because she had just learned the truth about her father, and now he was gone. Bard had also arrived, ready to kill Heli. Hak already knew about Bard's intentions, so he drove Heli away to save her and had to fight Bard and his men with a sword. The obvious result was that Hak was also killed by Bard's soldiers. Bard was still under Loki's control, who had arranged for his son's death. Heli escaped to a hidden corner where no one could see her. Bard and Ken thought that Heli had run into the forest, so they saw no point in searching for her. Bard revealed his plan to take the throne in place of the dead King Esmond and blame Heli for his death. This way, people would catch Heli and bring her to Bard at any cost. Ken supported Bard in this whole plan. Heli overheard this while they were leaving, so she quietly slipped away from the cave into the forest. Her entire family had been wiped out in one blow. She had seen her real father killed right before her eyes. She could never forget these horrific events. Bard's only intention now was to take over the entire kingdom. With the king gone, Bard had automatically become the new king. Bard went straight to the commander of the army, Sane, and ordered him to follow his commands. But Sane did not accept Bard as the king. According to him, Esmond was the rightful king, and after him, Heli would become the princess. Bard even challenged Sane that once he became king, he would remove Sane from the kingdom as well. Obviously, Bard was abusing his power. Shortly after, we see Sane and his soldiers conducting the funeral of their dead king, Esmond. They placed Esmond's dead body on a boat, shot flaming arrows at it, and burned it to ashes. Bard lied to everyone saying that Heli had killed King Esmond. So, in a way, Heli became their enemy. It was very important to find Heli and bring her back so she could be punished. But Sane and the other soldiers could not accept these things at all. They knew that Bard was lying heavily. So now, they had to find Heli before Bard did to save her life. Within a few days, Bard officially became the new king of the empire. He started doing whatever he wanted. To increase his army, he recruited many people under his control. Bard had become so cruel that he went to a blacksmith to make a strange kind of helmet. After making it, he tested it on the blacksmith by wearing it and killing him. This meant that whatever weapons the blacksmith made would be used by Bard's soldiers. Sane did not like any of this but was forced to follow Bard's orders. Meanwhile, Bard was trying every way possible to capture Helly. On the other side, Helly was spending her days in the forest. One day, she met some people who traveled to different places. Among them, she really liked a man named Vern. Since she had no support for many days, she started living with them. They were very cheerful people who lived their lives traveling from place to place. They had no connection to fights or quarrels, and Helly liked their lifestyle very much. She wanted to join their group. Even though Helly had learned very good fighting skills since childhood, she was not very interested in fighting. She had learned those skills only for her protection. As time passed, it became clear that Helly had fallen in love with Vern. They expressed their feelings for each other, and perhaps they entered into a relationship. One day, while they were sitting and talking, some soldiers of Ken came there to capture Helly. Helly could not sit quietly. So she started attacking them with her sword. Vern stopped her, saying they should not kill those soldiers because humans should not take the lives of other humans. That was a big sin. Seeing Helly so angry, the soldiers fled. After this attack, Vern and his companions decided to shift Helly to another place. They used to do this whenever they felt in danger. They would change their location to stay safe. There is so much space on Earth that they could go anywhere safe. Later, we see in the forest that Vern has married another girl. After experiencing all these things, Helly was completely shocked because she loved Vern. But an old man from the tribe explained everything to Helly, that Vern and that girl already had a relationship. They had decided in childhood that they would get married in the future. This was something Helly didn't know, and unknowingly, she had started liking Vern. However, here Helly controlled her emotions and accepted these facts. After a little while, Sane came to Helly with some soldiers. Helly was happy to see Sane after so long. But Sane explained to Helly that Bard was looking to kill her. No matter what, Bard's soldiers wanted to capture and finish her. The next day, Helly met a god named Odin. Odin was very kind and had come to guide Helly. Odin told her that she would have to fight to save her empire. She was the rightful heir who would rule the entire empire one day. But Helly didn't want to listen at all. She had no interest in the empire and just wanted to live a normal life with the tribe people. That's why she was sacrificing the empire. Odin explained that she had to do this not for herself but for all the innocent nobles because their lives were in danger. Bard tortured them cruelly for his own benefit. After hearing Odin so patiently, Helly finally understood. Odin disappeared from there, and Helly knew what she had to do. Helly immediately called Sane and all the soldiers and told them to get ready. Bard was also moving toward them with his army. Sane began preparing many soldiers, including Vern and his girlfriend. This meant that soon, Helly would also have her own army ready to fight. The next day, Bard appeared with his full army, and on the other side was Helly with many members of the tribe. Bard wanted to kill Helly and the only heir of the empire. He wanted to regain his lost empire. Soon, a fierce battle started between the two armies. Helly immediately began using her skills and caused significant damage to the enemy soldiers. Ken's soldiers also attacked but weakened quickly. Bard was watching all this. Bard fled into the forest with one of his bodyguards as soon as he realized he was weakening. Helly was observing everything and was determined to catch Bard at any cost. The rest of the tribe had collaboratively weakened Bard's soldiers significantly. At one moment, Helly saved Vern's life, which made Vern very happy. However, Vern asked Helly to go after Bard. Helly understood, and as they parted, they shared a passionate kiss. Vern's girlfriend witnessed this kiss and could sense that something was definitely going on between the two. When Sane saw this, he sent two of his comrades to accompany Helly and help her. Traveling with the two companions, Helly reached the place where Bard's bodyguard was waiting. The bodyguard immediately got ready to fight. He easily killed the two soldiers first. Helly was not afraid and fought him fiercely. A fierce battle broke out between them, but Helly had learned different techniques on how to defeat even the strongest enemies. Even the toughest enemies were easy to beat because they lacked speed. Helly used this technique effectively. After putting in extra effort, Helly killed the bodyguard and started moving toward Bard. Bard was standing there, ready to fight. At first, Bard dominated the fight and caused significant damage to Helly, almost giving her a chance to die. But Loki came from behind and told Bard to kill Helly quickly because she must not be given another chance. After hearing Loki, Bard immediately started strangling Helly. If he had delayed a little longer, Helly might have died right there. Meanwhile, deep inside the forest, Sane and many of Ken's men were fighting each other. Ken was dealing serious damage to Sane and injuring him, but Sane could not afford to lose because this was about his empire. If Sane lost, the empire would get a wrong king. At this point, Helly's condition was very bad. Before killing Helly, Bard kept repeating that no lady could ever run the empire, only brave men like him could do that. In that moment, Bard got a bit emotional and started arguing with Helly. But Helly wasn't foolish, she used this opportunity to slowly loosen the chains and trap Bard's neck with them. She hung the other end of the chain on a tree, choking Bard. Helly then responded firmly that no matter what, the empire needed good guidance, someone who would genuinely care for its people, and she decided that she herself would run the empire. After hanging for so long in the chains, Bard died. Meanwhile, Sane was badly injured in the forest, and Ken was moments away from killing him. Just then, Helly arrived and killed Ken. The tribe's warriors had already defeated the enemy soldiers, and everyone knelt before Helly, accepting her as the new queen of their empire. From the next day onward, Helly was crowned queen and given the throne. Everyone respected the queen, believing she would guide the empire well. But later, Loki appeared to Vern's girlfriend and told her that their queen, Helly, was cruel, that she had taken her husband away and separated them. This made Vern's girlfriend remember how Vern and Helly had kissed, and she feared Helly might separate her and Vern forever. Anger ignited inside Vern's girlfriend, and she started looking at the queen with hatred. This hinted at upcoming conflicts between them, and Loki would likely continue stirring trouble and fights among people. And with that, our story ends here.